Here's your news for August 31st, 2020. And your headlines for today include how WWE did a great job with Payback pay-per-view and where they badly missed out. WWE fans did the unthinkable yet again during the pay-per-view, WWE in serious trouble. Shocking details about Paul Heyman return is revealed. Accusations on John Cena are indeed real. Former WWE wrestler speaks out. Mike Tyson and Kurt Angle share the same ring, and more. We're kicking off today with Payback, as with just 1 week spilled, WWE tried to put together a stacked show. Running just 2 hours 32 minutes, WWE packed plenty into a relatively short show, and today we're looking at what went right, wrong, and what left fans scratching their heads. What went right? Though not everything was perfect from Payback, the show started off strong, as the Bobby Lashley-Apollo Crews match excited fans and set the tone for the evening. Both men delivered, and despite Lashley being the favorite going in, there were genuine moments where it looked like Crews would retain, and a lengthy feud between the two, with Crews now chasing the gold and eventually regaining it, could help elevate Crews even higher. Lashley's win also exemplifies good booking of a faction, as Payback showed just how good the Hurt Business is. All three men look like megastars, from being dressed in expensive clothes during their pre-match interview, to their powerful promos, to their post-match celebration in the ring. One man who is also in a faction but going it alone right now is Big E, who showed some serious spirit against Sheamus. Showing fire in his victory over the Celtic Warrior, Big E showed he's ready to take his singles run further, and despite a botched belly-to-belly and big ending, he wasn't the only one slipping up, and hopefully tonight was a one-off. With that said, Big E's fire was impossible to ignore, and the sky's the limit for Big E if he continues to channel it. Payback also saw a dynamic pay-per-view debut for Keith Lee, who clashed with Randy Orton's methodical, often boring pace with his own brand of strength and agility. Orton certainly had his working boots on as he helped make Lee look like a star, even giving the Limitless One the win in under 7 minutes, and the WWE must capitalize on the former NXT champion whilst they can. The last thing we need is for 50-50 booking to mean Lee jobs out too much, rendering this win pointless, though the company also has to consider Orton's own star power now that the Viper has dropped 2 pay-per-view matches in 2 weeks. Of course, most of Payback's results were results fans saw coming, though that's not necessarily a bad thing. The show, which didn't feel like much of a pay-per-view, had some solid storytelling, from the ongoing rebirth of the Riot Squad, to the ongoing collapse of the Golden Role Models, to Big E's singles push, to the emergence of stars like Matt Riddle and Keith Lee, to Roman Reigns cementing his heel turn with his Universal title win. Simply put, WWE used Payback to further the storylines they've spent time to invest in, and with effective storytelling, fans will tune in to see what happens next. One person fans will tune in for is Alexa Bliss, who watched the Triple Threat main event and clearly has some feelings for The Fiend, and will clearly align with him soon enough. We're not sure if WWE were right to keep her from the match, but we're looking forward to see where her character goes from here, and what the company has in store next for the demented romance between Bliss and The Fiend. Shayna Baszler won big at Payback, capturing her first title on the main roster, but it's how she won the women's tag titles with Nia Jax that most impressed fans. Locking both Bayley and Sasha Banks in submissions to get the win, Baszler proved how talented she is, a welcome sign after a year where her Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank victories were given to somebody else. What went wrong? There's a lot to praise Payback 2020 over, but a lot went wrong during the show, starting with the kickoff match between the Riot Squad and the Iconics. Whilst realigning the Riot Squad has given both women something to do, as well as add another team to the women's division, we couldn't ignore Liv Morgan's botches, blowing the simplest of spots in the match, and hopefully Riot will be able to help her improve, something that she'll need to do if they want to be women's tag team champions. That wasn't the only issue before Payback though, as the company's pre-show panel just didn't feel the same without Renee Young, who left WWE following SummerSlam. Her absence was sorely felt, leading to the panel having awkward moments, and it may take some time for fans to get used to Renee being gone, but one thing we know now is that Jerry Lawler and Peter Rosenberg just aren't cutting it without her. On the show, there were plenty of tag teams that suffered losses, but no one seemed more affected than Seth Rollins and Murphy. Though their alignment this year has been one of WWE's most interesting gimmicks, the team has become the victims of WWE's trope of bringing teams together just to split them up and have them feud. Once again, WWE has thrown away a potentially strong team, and it's hard to imagine Murphy coming out any better post his inevitable feud with the Monday Night Messiah than he was going into it. Perhaps WWE could shock us all by having Murphy and Rollins work things out and remain a team, but for now, expect the company to get rid of another tag team in a storytelling method we've seen countless times before. And lastly, we're looking at the 7-day reign of Bray Wyatt, who lost his Universal title just a week after winning at SummerSlam. With that said, it's obvious The Fiend will now chase Reigns for the Universal title, which Wyatt was never actually pinned for, as Strowman was pinned instead. It's another example of the WWE not quite knowing how to use The Fiend, and we can't help but think that not having Wyatt win the title at SummerSlam would have been more beneficial for his character and his upcoming feud with the Big Dog. What left fans confused? There was nothing too confusing about WWE Payback 2020, as the show was predictable to say the least, with no real standout performances aside from the Mysterios vs. Rollins and Murphy match and Shayna Baszler's double submission finish. With that in mind, fans who came to see titles change hands got what they wanted, as we saw all 3 titles on the line change hands, a large amount of title changes we're not used to seeing, not even at SummerSlam. The main event certainly felt like the rightful main event, and though there was plenty of good and bad from Payback 2020, we're confident that WWE should never do a pay-per-view just 1 week after a major one, as it'll always be impossible to live up to the hype. Thankfully, WWE's next outing on pay-per-view will come on September 27th at Clash of Champions, and we'll have to see if WWE uses the next 4 weeks to learn from the mistakes they made at Payback. But what did you think of Payback? Do you think the show happened too soon, and what was your match of the night? Leave your ratings for Payback 2020 in the comments below. Now that we've discussed Payback, let's take a look at our daily dose of wrestling news. We are entering the Thunderdome first, as a fan has once again used their seat to show something WWE doesn't want fans to see. During the Randy Orton-Keith Lee match at Payback, one fan held a Being the Elite foam finger while Orton posed to the crowd, despite WWE not wanting any AEW imagery or merchandise being shown. The Thunderdome has admittedly seen much worse appear, including a fan wearing KKK robes, and Chris Benoit, and AEW Tag Team Champion Kenny Omega recently confirmed that he was in the crowd. After months of no fan presence, the Thunderdome was meant to allow some sense of normalcy to WWE TV, but if fans keep breaking WWE's rules, we wouldn't be too surprised if the company went back to shows without actual fans. One person who wasn't in the Thunderdome for Payback is Drew McIntyre, though fans got an update on the WWE Champion following the brutal attack by Randy Orton on Raw. During the Payback kickoff show, Charlie Caruso said medical staff were fearful that McIntyre's skull had been fractured from Orton's punt, and there was potential bleeding of the brain also, with these injuries described as career-threatening. Of course, this is a kayfabe injury to temporarily write McIntyre out of storylines, and following Orton's loss to Keith Lee at Payback, we'll have to see what the future holds for Orton, Lee, and the WWE Champion. Over to SmackDown next, as Roman Reigns shockingly aligned with Paul Heyman on last Friday's show, a plan that Heyman's own people didn't know about. In a blog on the Heyman Hustle website, it was stated that the staff of Heyman's own company didn't have a clue that he was returning, which backs up reports that the plan for his return was kept between an incredibly select group of people. With Heyman being fired as Raw's executive director in June, a decision that made fans and investors sweat, it's unclear how much creative input he will have. But with Roman Reigns as SmackDown's top heel and the latest Paul Heyman guy, this will be a very interesting time in WWE, albeit one only a select few will know about before it happens. At Payback, Reigns captured the Universal title after entering the match late, flanked by Heyman, and now we have a greater idea of why the two were put together. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that WWE wanted Heyman back on TV to justify his deal, saying, "They feel the need for Roman's turn to be complete. The other end of it is that Heyman has got such a big contract, and it's kind of like I think they want to justify the fact that he's got such a big contract and he's not doing anything." As one of WWE's best promos, Heyman back on TV is something many fans can get behind, especially if he's going to be on full-time rather than only showing up when Brock Lesnar is around. It's also been noted that there are big plans for a heel Reigns, and with the big dog regaining the title he never lost, with Heyman by his side, things are only going to get more interesting from here. From one WWE champion to another, as John Cena did a lot in WWE, but one thing he didn't do is lose to the Nexus at SummerSlam 2010. In the years since, fans have argued that the NXT rookies never had the same heat after their SummerSlam loss to Team Cena, and one person who remembers that time well is Nexus alum Heath Slater. Speaking to Pro Wrestling Junkies, Slater spoke about the situation, saying, "I'll tell you this much, I've had so many people ask me that over the years. Honestly, I'm not sure if it's 100% fact, but I could comfortably say it's a 95% fact. The whole time we were there, we were going over. We were playing to win. Edge and Jericho basically came up with that whole match. They planned it all out and had where it was, how it should be, where I think the last one left was Wade. And then the next thing you know, 4 hours later, it was just not happening that way. Looking at it now, if we would have took over SummerSlam and ran it to Mania, and had some supergroup come and let them destroy us, they should have put it in jeopardy and really made people believe that we were a threat and want to see some group come in and beat us. They just cut it off when we were almost to the peak of the mountain." Who knows what could have happened if one of WWE's biggest stars ever put over the Nexus a decade ago, though nothing can be done about it now, even if it's widely regarded to be one of the company's biggest booking mistakes. And finally today we're ending with news from Kurt Angle, as the retired wrestler has shown he can still go in the ring. Recently, former UFC fighter Henry Cejudo uploaded a few short videos of himself and Angle training last Saturday, and they were joined by boxing legend Mike Tyson at Tyson Ranch. At 51 years old, the video showed that Angle can still go in the ring, despite some of his final WWE matches not living up to the standard that many fans have of the wrestling machine. As for Tyson, his fight with Roy Jones Jr. has been postponed, giving him more time to train, and with both Tyson and Cejudo having teased AEW matches in the past, we'll have to see what the future holds for Angle and whether he could soon be All Elite too, when the time is right.